Amanda here from createyourfuture.co. So today we have Alexis joining us. Hello, Alexis.
Hi, Amanda. Hi, everybody.
Hey guys, we have an exciting success story of one of Alexa's clients. So she was in a relationship and it wasn't going anywhere. She was reacting. There was multiple third parties. He was angry, mean. It was just all around not fun. And she took the relationship, completely turned it around, manifested a new version of him to the point where he only has eyes for her and wants to be with her and only her. So this is a really, really exciting story. So guys, like usual, we're going to read the story through. And then once we do that, we're going to give you pointers and tips on how you can recreate somebody in your life. So yes, Alexis, excited to hear this success story.
Jumping on in here. Okay. Hi, I'm just writing to share my success story. When I started coaching in September with Alexis, everything was honestly insane. To sum things up, my SP had called things off, had multiple third parties, barely talked to me, was extremely reactive and angry towards me, and it was just a very crazy story I had created. I started getting into manifesting because despite all of this, I still wanted this relationship to work. I booked a session with Alexis and we started working on intentions about the entire situation. Since then, I have manifested countless things and changed the entire situation around. The third parties are long gone. My SP and I are back together. We spend every night and do everything together. I've met his family and friends. We talk about the future, like having kids and getting married all the time. He planned a surprise getaway for my birthday. He tells me almost every day that I'm the best thing that ever happened to him, and so much more. My SP is a completely different version and treats me exactly how I want to be treated now. I can't thank Alexis enough for all the help she has given me and for always being there to remind me of all of my successes. I'm currently focused on us moving in together and manifesting other areas of my life as well. Okay.
Yay!
I hope this inspires other people that feel like they are in an impossible situation because anything can be turned around faster than you realize. Thank you, Alexis. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So there we go.
Oh, I love it. It's so exciting. I'm so proud of her. That's amazing. Amazing. I love it. She's right. It can be so incredibly fast. Like, the minute you actually affirm something, it's done. But we don't see it sometimes because we go back the other way and we miss it. It was like, oh, sorry. Okay. You don't want that. Nope. But it's already there. Once we affirm it, it's already there. As long as we, don't do the opposite, and think, oh, this isn't working or it's not there, go back to thinking the old story, so that's the thing. It's already done if you choose it to be done, the minute you state it, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, very well said. And this client was really, really good at not reacting to circumstances, not reacting to to the 3D, and like staying on the straight and narrow. And whenever she got kind of off of the path or she questioned things or doubted things, she'd book a quick session and we get her back on track. So the coaching was really helpful, I think. And then she really declared what she wanted and she stuck to it. So she didn't doubt and question the process. And that was a huge part of it. And then the cute thing is that she termed everything in the 3D that she didn't like as fake news. So whenever she'd say it,
it's fake. It's fake.
It's fake. It's old thoughts. It's old thoughts. And I was like, can I write that down so I can use it and like tell everybody else because that's amazing. Yeah, really helpful stuff.
That is so awesome. I love that. One thing, let's talk about not reacting. So one way that I've learned not to react is to watch the meaning I give something. Okay. So let's say, for example, I intend that somebody's going to help me like decorate my new place. Okay. Or decorate my place. Okay. And help me with that. And then let's say somebody does step in to do that. And then all of a sudden I accuse them of, telling me what to do and not trusting me to be able to do it. Right. So, we've got to watch, the meaning we give, to things that we're reacting to. We have to ask ourselves, is there another possible reason why this is happening? How did I create this? Rather than, how can I react to this right now over the meaning? Because we react over the meaning, not our original intention, right? Our original intention is going to be totally different than the meaning we're giving the action in the moment. So, it always comes down to that. If you, for instance, I intend that people care, and then all of a sudden they care, and I'm like, don't tell me what to do, right? You know, but all they were doing was caring because I made the intention that they would care. But then when that showed up, I made it mean something completely different, right? So you want to look into your life where you're reacting and see where that's happening. Or you can also just go the other way and fake news and go look at, you know what, now at this point, I go, I don't even care how that showed up. I know I created it somehow. So now I'm going to change it. I'm not even going to bother to try to figure out what emotion I've got there because I know it doesn't matter anyway. So that's when you get to the point of not reacting. You just go, whatever, you know, which you do get to a point. Sometimes you may react, then you want to look into the emotions you're having and change the meaning. But really, I mean, you know, if you can do it on the good days of going fake news, doesn't matter. I know I created it. This is what I want instead, right? And renouncing it and creating something different, right?
Right. Yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing that this client did was she used some of the traits of the SP we really talked about, and she flipped them and used them all to her advantage. So, and this might be really helpful to the ladies out there who have a certain kind of guy, because I really asked her a lot of questions about like, what's he really like? Like, is he really masculine? Because he sounded super masculine, testosterone driven, which I actually have a lot of experience with in my own personal life. So I said, okay, so if he's like that, like, let's flip all that and use his like masculinity for only you, so that he has all of this behavior, but it's all towards you. And that really helped her because she's recreating him, but is using the parts of him that she liked as part of the creation now to her advantage. And it was really also believable for her to kind of do that too.
Exactly. No, exactly. And that's what actually we were just talking about before we started recording was, you know, basically like creating the new version and always interacting with that new version, whether it be in your mental conversations or in your assumptions of the person or in your reactions of the person. Okay. So let's say, for instance, your SP, right? You know, basically always, you know, wants to help you and says, you know, like, okay, don't eat that, don't do this, you know, and always wants you to go to the gym. And you're like, oh, you know, stop telling me what to do, but you've created them to care. That's why they're doing it, right? So, you know, we've got to interact. If we're reacting that, you know, they're telling us what to do, that's not interacting with the version of them that we want. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, we've got to come from our, you know, as everything that all the meanings we give that their actions coming from the version of who we want them to be. So we need to get clear on what that version of them is.
Exactly. And I think that's a really important part, Amanda, is getting clear on who is that version and then sticking to it. Because like she said, fake news, fake news, fake news. Well, there were multiple third parties here. There was like evidence of stuff. There were things, like there were a lot going on, but she really had decided in her own inner being that she was only going to interact with the SP version that was, you know, still like a dude, like super masculine, but that all that passion was for her. He only had eyes for her. He only saw her. And then it really turned around so quickly. And I should add too that like her family was against him, the family, the friends, everybody was against the relationship. So then she began intending for all them to stop asking about him. And so she could have like some peace with herself about it. And then it really flipped. So, but she stuck to that version of the new reality and of herself. So
I love that, you know, and yeah, exactly. Also recreating everybody that's involved in it as well, you know, recreating that they like the person, you know, and yeah, I love that too. Like, you know, there's always that question of what do we do when people are asking about their relationship and we're not together? Well, intend they stop asking.
Exactly. Yeah, right. That's simple, right? Like intend that they want to ask, intend that your friends talk about themselves, intend that your family talks to you about the weather or about the fake news, or you know what I mean, the real fake news or something like that.
The real fake news. The real fake news and fake news. We got a lot of fake news going on here.
I could say, yeah.
No, I love that. I love that. You know, it's always, you know, I think one of the biggest things, you know, I just had a moment just as, you know, before we were recording the video, you know, I remember this necklace. Andrew bought it for me. I think it was my birthday last year. And I remember intending for it. And, you know, and we're sitting here and I just had this, when you were reading the success story, I had this moment where I was looking at me in the camera and I was like, oh, like everyone's you pushed out. There's evidence everywhere, you know, constantly. And then once you just have that moment where it hits you, you know, make intentions from that standpoint, make intentions from that state as well. Those will be really, really powerful because you're in that moment of, you know what, I believe this. But it brings me to the other thing that actually I'm going to do a TikTok about later is that we don't actually need to believe our intentions. We just need to repeat them because our brain works on repetition and consistency. So if we keep repeating something enough times, our brain is going to accept it as the truth. Okay. So even if you're not in a state of believing that you create, even if you don't even believe your intentions, just do them anyway, right? Just focus on what you want. Okay. And you'll start getting evidence for it, right? And little pieces of evidence will come through. And you got to make all those little pieces mean that it's happening. You know what I mean? If you really do, you know?
Totally.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of trust. You know, it's funny. We're obviously, everyone knows we're moving. Everybody on the internet knows, right? So anyways, we had some stuff to donate and we called this charity. We always call this charity. And last time it was like a year and a half ago that we had called them. And when I first moved in here, and it took them 2 months to get here. But you know what? I remember my mental diet was terrible. I was like, they're not going to show up. They're not going to show up. They're not going to show up. And like, so anyways, this time when I phoned them, right? I phone them now, even though it's like a month or 2 months away, we're moving, but I'm like, I got to give them 2 months notice, right? You know, because that was my previous, you know, creation, my previous evidence of them. So what I did today was, or the other day was I phoned them and I was like, I was told him what we had. And I said, okay, can you give me a date? He's like, can't give you a date. And I was like, okay. And he's got two options. He can do the regular or the rush, right? So if it's like within 4 weeks, you donate more money kind of thing. And if it's over, then you donate less money because they want a donation. You give them stuff, plus you give them money to take your stuff, right? Which totally fine with. I always support, you know, all charities. Like we support a lot. So anyway, so I was like, but this, I only phoned him 4 days ago. And all of a sudden I was like, no, you know what? I'm like, this is going to happen fast. I'm like, we're going to get this organized because, you know, as you know, I run a business and Andrew as well. And we've got other things. So we're starting to get things together now. So I kept saying, no, this is going to happen. It's going to happen fast. I need to get this all organized now. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Well, I'm not kidding you. I only called him like on Thursday of last week. Guess what? I got a phone call this morning saying I'm going to pick up that furniture. What? And I told him I wanted the 4 week, regular pickup, but it was like less than 3 days, business days. So there's a really good example where I didn't keep talking about the old story, right? I just said to Andrew, I'm going to do it now because last time it took them 2 months. But then after that, I called them and I said, can you give me a date? No. He's like, regular. I said, how long is that? He's like, 4 week window. I said, okay, no problem. We got 2 months. As long as it's done before December 31st, I'm happy. And then all of a sudden, 4 days later, right? Like, so keep persisting in the news story. It will happen like that as long as we're not held back. If you feel the old person, like you're still in that old story, right? So you change your emotions when you, in relation to thinking about the person, you're already recreating them, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And she really stuck on the new intentions and she was blown away. Actually, I'm remembering about our very, very first session and the intentions I gave her. She was like, oh, I never thought about thinking about it like that. And I said, yeah, because we're going to recreate this guy to be exactly who you want him to be. It's a little bit different. The angle of recreating somebody is a whole new association to in your inner self and your inner being of who's that ideal version of him and what does that ideal relationship feel like from your perspective. So
exactly. I mean, absolutely amazing. And guys, you know what? Alexis is a neurolinguistic programming practitioner. She is a success coach. Like, she can help you with this, guys. So if you would like some help, definitely check out the link in the description below. Yeah, she is available for coaching. Thank you so much for being here today, Alexis.
Well, thank you for having me. It's always very fun.
Excellent. And guys, you know what? If you do want to ask me, Amanda, a question, definitely go to the Patreon, post it there. I actually don't moderate the YouTube comments. I don't really see much of them. I see them, but I don't actually moderate. Somebody else moderates them. That's why we use the Patreon. So please definitely check out the Patreon. And guys, thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.